Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the City of Moreno Valley's 2022 Veterans Day ceremony. We'd like to thank you all for being here with us. We will be beginning in about 10 minutes. In 10 minutes time, we're just slightly delayed, and we will be beginning in about 10 minutes. Thank you for attending, and enjoy the show.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Ixtian Gutierrez, Mayor of the City of Moreno Valley, and welcome to the Veterans Day ceremony this year of 2022. On behalf of the City and the City Council, again, we want to welcome you to our community and all of the students, the youth, the seniors that are all here as well. As the United States Marine Corps celebrates its 247th birthday, we come together at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month to honor our brave men and women who have served in all branches of the United States military. These courageous souls put their lives on the line for something bigger than themselves, to preserve the freedoms we enjoy today. There are many Moreno Valley residents who have answered the call of service. In fact, it's a common sight to see service members throughout our wonderful city. It is such a wonderful pleasure to see so many people in our community coming together on this beautiful morning, by the way, to show their appreciation to those who serve or have served in our military. Again, thank you so much for being here today. As we begin our program, please stand for the invocation led by Pastor Andrew Bogenwright of Sandals Church. Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by Rancho Verde High School JROTC. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Delgado, and please continue to stand out of respect for our country as the national anthem is performed by Megan Howat of Canyon Springs High School. So, Pastor, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Would you bow your heads and close your eyes and join me for a word of prayer? God, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the freedoms that we get to have here in this city and in this nation. We thank you for the brave men and women who have sacrificed their lives and given their lives freely for the pleasures and the freedom that we have. And so, God, may they feel honored today. May they know that they're loved and appreciated by so many people. May they know that they're supported and just have the love and appreciation of their city. God, would you be with the city of Moreno Valley? Would you unite us together, regardless of who's in office or what side of the aisle? May we come together for the good of the city, the good of the people, the good of the children, that many people would have great and fulfilled lives. So bless this time together. May it be fruitful and may it honor you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner
Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you for being here. You may be seated. Thank you. Okay. Let's give them a round of applause to JROTC and Megan from Canyon Springs High School, by the way. Good job. I also would like to recognize my colleagues here that are on the City Council, including 2 U.S. veterans. So if you could please stand and remain standing until I call all of your names. Mayor Pro Tem Ed Delgado, thank you for your service. Councilmember Elena Baca Santa Cruz. Councilmember David Marquez, thank you for your service. Councilmember Ulysses Cabrera. We are also fortunate, thank you so much. We are also fortunate to have many community leaders and special guests here. So thank you for your presence and commitment to service members across Riverside County. So I'm going to go ahead and name them. We have Mike Lee, our city manager. Brian Mohan, assistant city manager. We also have Jane Halstead, city clerk. Michael Lloyd, public works director. Manuel Mancha, community development director. Jeremy Bucknick, parks and community services director. Jesse Park, fire chief. Kenneth Reichel, chief of police. Okay. We also have Perry Covington, major from the United States Air Force and director of public affairs. If you can wave. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. And then we also have Sandy Ramirez from the Chamber of Commerce. She's the chairwoman. Okay. And we have Ginger Williams from the Library Commission. And then we have Ray Baker from the Planning Commission. Okay. And then any other dignitaries that weren't on this list, let's just give them a round of applause, just in case. Okay. Make sure you cover everyone. Okay. So thank you all for joining us today. I would also like to recognize a few very special groups who are here with us today as well. So as I call your group, please remain standing. Okay, so for example, will our military veterans, anyone that's a military veteran, please stand. And let's give them a round of applause. Will our active duty and reservists please also stand? Anyone that's active duty or reservists? Okay. And finally, will family members of veterans, active duty, and reserve personnel please stand? The family. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, it's my pleasure to host this Veterans Day ceremony as your mayor. Today is a day to celebrate honor, duty, and courage. But most of all, it's a day to say thank you. Thank you to all the millions of veterans and active duty personnel from all military branches who bravely stepped up to protect the values we hold dear. These heroes said goodbye to their families and gave everything they had for something bigger than any one person. General Douglas MacArthur once noted 3 words that highlight the essence of an American soldier. Duty, honor, country, he said. Those 3 hallowed words dictate that what you ought to be, what you can be, and what you will be. And make no mistake, we are externally grateful for the scores of veterans and military personnel who embody those 3 words each day. This day of remembrance began over 100 years ago when President Woodrow Wilson marked the end of World War I by creating Armistice Day. Armistice Day was announced to pay tribute to the millions of soldiers who fought in the trenches across Europe. In 1945, Just after World War II, veteran Raymond Weeks championed a day to celebrate the service of all veterans. And in 1954, Armistice Day officially became the Veterans Day holiday we celebrate today. Since then, millions of ordinary Americans have bravely stepped up and faced the horrors of war to protect our way of life. Many of those Americans come from right here in Moreno Valley. Decades ago, this region blossomed around March Air Reserve Base, previously known as March Air Force Base. Scores of service members pass through our community while on their way home or abroad. This distinction makes Moreno Valley a military town at heart. We owe a lot to the legacy of March Field, and we are thankful for the thousands of active duty soldiers and veterans who call our great city home. You can see that gratefulness around town, by the way, as many of them are on banners across the city, along our city streets. These banners serve as a reminder of their service to our nation. That gratefulness is seen in the many programs and services we provide for our local veteran community. In fact, we started a program called Hire a MoVal Vet, which gives veterans a leg up in finding the perfect local job so that they can provide for their families. Our Business and Employment Resource Center, or BERC, has regular classes and programs that give our veterans unparalleled employment help. March Air Reserve Base, as well, offers housing for our struggling veterans, giving them a roof over their heads and helping them get back on their feet. These programs are only part of how we express our appreciation to our veterans in Moreno Valley. To honor those who didn't make it home, we have this beautiful Veterans Memorial right behind me as a permanent reminder of their sacrifice. Each granite panel in this memorial is inscribed with the names of Moreno Valley service members who gave their lives in the name of something bigger than themselves, and for that we are grateful. John F. Kennedy once said, "Guard zealously your right to serve in the armed forces, for without them there will be no other rights to guard." Today and every day, we say thank you to our veterans who have answered the ultimate call of service to defend the rights that have defined us as a nation. And we will never forget that bravery and their sacrifice. So at this time, we will invite the Canyon Springs High School Madrigals to perform a musical tribute honoring our nation's heroes. That was an amazing performance. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you, Canyon Springs High School. They always do such a beautiful job every year, by the way. Now we will unveil the new banners and pavers that will be added to our collection at our Veterans Ceremony. This is the 17th year the City of Moreno Valley has held our military banner and Veterans Memorial Paver program. These banners and pavers provide an opportunity for families to pay tribute to family members who have served in the armed forces, and there's still opportunity to do so. Today we recognize a group of proud veterans of the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, and the U.S. Air Force. Would our honorees, if they're in attendance, and their families, please stand when I call your name. Anthony W. Gonzalez, U.S. Navy. Okay. Ashley Nicole Vargas, U.S. Air Force. Hector Fernando Reyes, U.S. Army. Cynthia Ann Stidham and Philip Haynes Stidham of the U.S. Air Force could not be here today, but we are honoring them with pavers right here at our Veterans Memorial as well. So let's give them a round of applause as well. And again, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for your service to our country. Thank you. And now we welcome back the Rancho Verde High School JROTC for a special drill performance that is going to honor our veterans. So let's give them another round of applause.
Center, dress. Ready, two. Ready, front. Ceremonial at ease. Honor, guard. Ten, hut. Freeze and forward. Arms. Mark. Forward, march.
Order, arms. 10 count manual, arms. About, face. Dress right, dress. Ready, front. Order, arms. Manual, arms.
face Aribe. Forward, march.
All right. Well, thank you to the Rancho Verde High School JROTC for that special drill performance honoring our veterans. That was fantastic, right? Awesome. That's great. Let's give them a round of applause. It is now my pleasure to recognize an esteemed member of our community. This person I've known for many years as I served as a mayor and also as a council member. He is very involved in our military community. And has a great relations with individuals even at the Pentagon as well too, and he really helps us with the JPA too. Before I bring him up here, I do want to mention that our Heroes for Heroes program is a joint effort between the City of Moreno Valley and the Moreno Valley Chamber of Commerce Military Affairs Committee to recognize residents and organizations who go to extraordinary lengths to help the veterans in our community. I'd like to invite Jamil Dada, the March Air Reserve Base Honorary Commander, to join me. It is my honor and privilege to present our 2022 Heroes for Heroes Award to Senior Master Sergeant Mike Schmitz. Mike, would you please join us on the stage? Senior Master Sergeant Schmitz is a veteran of 2 tours of Vietnam War, working as a radar traffic controller with the United States Air Force. He was responsible for facilitating aircraft refueling missions, and search and rescue missions, ensuring our soldiers were successfully taken out of harm's way. He has also been a proud champion of Riverside County's veteran community for over 25 years. He currently works as a volunteer at the Marchfield Air Museum and volunteers at Riverside National Cemetery as burial detail for veterans without families. Senior Master Sergeant Smith, on behalf of the City of Moreno Valley, we want to thank you for your tireless service to our country. You answered the call and you proudly served, undertaking vital missions that successfully furthered our operations in Vietnam. Even now, you dedicate so much of your time educating people about the March Air Reserve Base's proud history, and you ensure that all of our heroes can be laid to rest with the dignity and honor that they deserve. Senior Master Sergeant, people like you are what make Moreno Valley such an incredible and special city. Jamil, would you like to say a few words on behalf of the March Air Reserve Base?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep it brief. Mike is truly a hero, but not just a hero, but he is a hero for heroes. I have had the pleasure of working closely with Mike for almost the past 20 years. As was mentioned by the mayor, his service, I just want to give you some additional numbers. For 25 years, he was in the active duty Air Force. As you've heard, he did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. And after he retired from the active duty, he worked for another 20 years with U.S. Customs and the Department of Homeland Security. And he was selected as a senior NCO twice during his term in the Air Force. If any of you have ever been to the museum, and you know, our museum is very busy. We have 70,000 visitors a year. And out of the 3,109 counties in the United States, I think all of you know Riverside County, where Mayor Extian is heading next. Congratulations on your election as supervisor. Riverside County is the 10th largest county out of the 3,109 counties when you look at population. But in the number of veterans that reside in Riverside County, we're number 7 out of the 3,109 counties. And a majority of those veterans live in western Riverside County. So this part where we live is a very patriotic, very veteran-friendly community. And that's what Mike is. So we have 70,000 visitors, but the first person that will greet you when you come to the museum is Mike. And he is a tireless, selfless, amazing individual that does whatever is necessary. He is also a teacher at La Sierra University, where he teaches students about Southeast Asia, and also was involved with the Riverside Special Olympics for 13 years. Another thing that most people would be amazed to hear, because I can't even imagine this, he has been donating blood for 60 years, and according to them, he has donated 58 gallons of blood, right? Let's give him a round for that. Mike, you truly are a hero for heroes. We bless you, God bless you, and here, Mayor, if you want, we'll present him together. Great. This is for you, for your service, and why don't you stand?
Mayor Gutierrez, Camille Dada, honored guests, city council members, council member Marquez, I love your shirt. I like to have one like that because I would do the same thing if the call was needed. For all you Vietnam veterans, welcome home, all you Dinky Dows. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, and once again, thank you for your service. Let's give him one more round of applause. Thank you, sir. And now I am pleased to introduce a very special guest, our keynote speaker for today's ceremony, who is Colonel Eric L. Ofterhide, commander of the 452nd Air Mobility Wing. Colonel Ofterhide is the base commander for March Air Reserve Base, which supports the active duty, National Guard, and reservists from the Air Force, Army, Navy, and the Marines. He is also the commander of the Air Force Reserve's largest wing, which contains more than 4,000 personnel and 23 heavy aircraft. He also directs the support of worldwide airlift and air refueling operations. Since joining March Air Reserve Base just last month, Colonel Ofterhide has already quickly established himself as a pillar in Moreno Valley, building lasting relationships with many community leaders. Now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a nice, big, warm welcome to Moreno Valley Colonel Eric L. Ofterhide.
Good morning. Thank you for the kind words, and I'm going to give a speech today that I think the mayor stole just a little bit of my thunder. There's going to be a little crossover. But I want to say how impressed I was with the junior ROTC. Where'd they go? They already leave? The precision and dedication for them to make that happen was pretty neat to see. I encourage all of them to stay with it if they're interested in enlisting or becoming an officer. Apply. Have your students apply to college, apply to the Air Force Academy or ROTC. I'll tell you a trick that I learned that I didn't know about. This is for the parents out there, that if you apply and you don't get in high school, if you don't get offered that scholarship, it's because you're competing nationwide. Okay, it's a very competitive process. But each college has 2- and 3-year scholarships. So I found when I got into college, just get good grades. They don't look at your high school background anymore. It's just what you've done in college. And there are unfilled ROTC scholarships in college that go unfilled every single year, right? So different avenue. Okay. We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began at 11th hour, 11th day, 11th month. The time of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact, but somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. So this might sound like a Memorial Day speech, but for some folks, every day is a Memorial Day. 13. 13 is the total number of good friends that I've buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Most died the same night. One was my best friend from pilot training. There's a special sadness that accompanies the death of service members. For we're never quite good enough to them. Not really. We can't be, because what they gave is beyond our powers to repay. And so, when a serviceman dies, it's a tear in the fabric, a break in the whole, and all we can do is remember. In a way, it's an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us in wars far away. The imagination can play a trick. We see these soldiers in our minds as either young and ambitious or as old and wise. Maybe some see them as something like the Founding Fathers, grave and gray-haired. But most of them were boys or girls when they died, and they gave up two lives, the ones they were living and the ones they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands or wives, mothers or fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers. They gave up their chance to be revered and old. They gave up everything for our country, for us, and all we can do is remember. So there's always someone who is remembering for us. No matter what time of year it is or what time of day, there's always someone, some people, that go out to a cemetery. They leave a flag, they leave flowers, put a little stone on top of a headstone, a little rock. And they stop and they bow their heads. And they communicate what they wish to communicate. Hello, Carl. Hello, Greg. Hello, Hal and Phil. Andy. We still think of you. You're still with us. We never got over you, and we pray for you still. We'll see you again. We'll all meet again. In a way, they represent us, these relatives and friends. And they speak for us when they walk among the headstones, remember. It's not so hard to summon memory, but it is hard to recapture meaning. And the living have a responsibility to remember the conditions that led to the wars in which our heroes died. Perhaps we can start by remembering this, that all of those who died for us and our country were, in one way or another, victims of a peace process that failed, victims of a decision to forget certain things. To forget, for instance, that the surest way to keep a peace going is to stay strong. Weakness, after all, is a temptation, and it tempts the pugnacious to insert themselves. But strength is a declaration that cannot be misunderstood. Strength is a condition that declares actions have consequences. Strength is a prudent warning to the belligerent that aggression need not go unanswered. Peace fails when we forget what we stand for. It fails when we forget that our republic is based on firm principles. Principles that have real meaning, that with them we are the last best hope of man on earth. Without them, we're little more than the crust of a continent. Peace also fails when we forget to bring to the bargaining table common sense, reasonableness. Common sense gives us a realistic knowledge of human beings and how they think, how they live in the world, and what motivates them. Common sense tells us that man has magic in him, but also clay. Common sense can tell the difference between right and wrong. Common sense forgives error, but it always recognizes it to be error first. We endanger the peace and confuse all issues when we obscure the truth. When we refuse to name an act for what it is. When we refuse to see that the obvious and seek only safety. Peace is only maintained and won by those who have clear eyes and brave minds. Peace is imperiled when we forget to try for agreements and settlements and treaties. When we forget to hold out our hands and strive. Peace fails when we forget that agreements, once made, cannot be broken without a price. Each new day carries with it the potential of breakthroughs for progress. Each new day bursts with possibilities. And so, hope is realistic, and despair is pointless. We're surrounded today by the debt of our wars. We owe them a debt we can never repay. All we can do is remember them and what they did and why they had to be brave for us. All we can do is try to see that other young men and women never have to join them. Today, as never before, we must pledge to remember the things that will continue the peace. Today, as never before, we must seek broadening and deepening the peace we enjoy. Let us work for freedom and justice and a more stable world. In memory of those who gave their last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Colonel, again for those inspiring words. Appreciate it. Thank you. Now I am pleased to announce a very special proclamation commemorating Veterans Day. This person is also one of our local planning commissioners as well. I would like to invite Matthew Chen from the California Veterans Board to present a proclamation from California Governor Gavin Newsom.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew Chen, and I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. Right. Happy birthday, Marines. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, staff, and attendees for allowing me to be a part of today's Veterans Day service. Each year, we take this day to formally honor our veterans who answered the call to defend our freedoms. They served in the armed forces, in conflicts abroad, and they protect our borders here at home. They have served in defense of our allies and to preserve our way of life. Every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine has performed a duty that is vital to America, and for that, we thank you. At this time, please, Mayor Pro Tem Delgado, please stand, because we can't forget the Coasties either. There it is. But thanking a veteran isn't a one-day-a-year ritual. And many Americans understand that, and that's why we stop and take the time to shake a veteran's hand to recognize their sacrifice and their service. This is why we ask veterans to stand before a ball game so we can recognize them. And this is why we will sometimes pick up that tab for them when we're out to eat. It is important for our veterans to know that their dedication is valued, and today represents that official day set aside each year to emphasize that gratitude. Therefore, it is my honor and privilege to read to you and present to Mayor Gutierrez and City Council this Veterans Day proclamation on behalf of Governor Gavin Newsom. Each November 11th, we pay our respects and offer our thanks to those who served in the United States military to defend our freedoms and our way of life. The time-honored tribute we celebrate as Veterans Day began more than a century ago, but how we show veterans our respect today is as important as ever. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, World War I came to an end after 4 brutal years of fighting. 1 year later, America dedicated November 11th as Armistice Day to celebrate the peace and the veterans who fought to make the world a safer place. In 1938, Congress established Armistice Day as a legal holiday to honor those who fought in the war to end all wars. However, in the wake of World War II and the Korean War, Armistice Day became Veterans Day in 1954, a holiday to honor veterans of all wars from the past, present, and future. Today, California's veterans number 1.6 million, the most of any state in the nation. These men and women are family, friends, and patriots. They are represented across all of California's diverse population and in every facet of society. Many have used what they learned in the military to benefit us all as civilians. They serve as elected officials and employers who help to drive California's world-class economy. Other veterans aren't so fortunate. Many bear the physical and emotional scars of war and service. Many are facing homelessness. They need assistance, and California is committed to serving them as they served us. This is why this year we initiated a $50 million California Veterans Health Initiative to support veterans' mental health and suicide prevention. And this September, in partnership with legislators, we passed measures to advance the Southern California Veterans Cemetery in Orange County and to assist LGBTQ veterans discharged from the service under Don't Ask, Don't Tell in pursuing discharge upgrades to reestablish their eligibility for veteran benefits in California. As many communities today observe the traditional parades, picnics, and celebrations we have enjoyed over the decades, let us all recognize that the commitment and the personal sacrifices that our veterans have made to defend our way of life command gratitude and respect each and every day of the year. As Americans and Californians, we have no higher duty than to ensure that our veterans are supported, connected, and respected within their own communities. Now, therefore, I, Gavin Newsom, Governor of the State of California, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2022 as Veterans Day. Signed, Gavin Newsom, Governor of California. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, we really appreciate that. For our final performance of the morning, it's a very special one. Would you please, we do this every year, would you please welcome back the Canyon Springs High School Madrigals as they perform the Armed Forces Salute. And actually in your program, if you received a program this morning, in the back of it, the lyrics are there, so feel free to join in whenever you'd like to. Okay? What a fantastic conclusion to the 2022 Veterans Day ceremony. Let's thank the Canyon Springs High School Madrigal one more time for that beautiful performance. They did an amazing job. I also want to thank everyone for attending this ceremony today. Our JROTC students from Rancho Verde High School, they did an amazing job. And also all elected officials and city staff for making this beautiful ceremony possible. Let's give them a round of applause. I do want to let everybody know that we do have refreshments, coffee, and I believe cookies. So if you'd like to join us with that, that'd be great. As the mayor of Moreno Valley, I'm deeply grateful to all who have served. And this concludes our 2022 Veterans Day ceremony. Thank you all for being here. May God bless all military veterans, our nation, and may God continue to bless our great and beautiful city of Moreno Valley. Thank you.